Today the Jeep gets new rotors and brake pads, and I'm going to show you exactly how easy that is to do. As I've said before, if you can't figure out how to get your tire off your car, you probably shouldn't attempt this project. But don't worry, eventually you'll get there. With the tire off the vehicle, this is what we've got. We've got our rotor and our caliper with our brake pads inside the caliper. On the back side of the caliper, we're going to start by removing this bolt here and this bolt right here. With those bolts removed, and, well, perhaps a little simple persuasion, the caliper should come right off. Once the caliper is off, the next step is to remove the old brake pads. That may be easy or hard depending upon how much rust is on your vehicle. Just keep working with them and eventually they'll pop free. Now set the caliper aside and we'll move on to removing the rotor. Some rotors have these retaining clips and some don't. As you can see, mine does. You're going to need to remove these first. You really don't need them either way because the tire is what holds the rotor on. With those clips removed and, well, perhaps a little bit more persuasion, the old rotor should come right off. So this is what our old rotor looks like. And, well, the story behind these grooves, maybe we'll cover that in a different video. The old rotor's off, so let's go ahead and put the new rotor on. Get her out of the bag here, nice and clean, line everything up, put it in place. To reset those retaining clips, I simply screw them on as far as I can, then use a socket and some persuasion again, and seat them against the rotor. With the rotor back on, let's move back to our brake pads. We've got our new brake pads right here. Grab the caliper and set them in place, remembering to use the proper brake pad for the proper side. Pay attention to how you took those off and you'll be just fine. This one goes in, a little tight. It's got little nubs on it that line up with little holes on this particular caliper, so that makes it pretty easy. As you can see, I'm using this clamp here to keep the caliper open while I do this project. If it closes, it just makes things a little bit more difficult. Use it or don't, that's up to you. And as you can see, we'll slip the other brake pad right into place. We're ready to set the caliper back on the new rotor. Just make sure everything's spaced. And it should slip right into place fairly easily. There we go. Now all we need to do is put the two bolts back in the back of the caliper. Get those set, and you're good to go. Here's a quick shot of the bottom of the caliper, showing how everything lines up. Nice and perfect. Bolts tightened. We can move on to closing this thing up. Well, that's the passenger side all done. I think it looks pretty good so far, but let's move on over to the driver's side. Here I'll show you how to do this entire project, start to finish, in, well, let's just say, a little bit faster time. So that's it, you're all done. And if I didn't mention it, I did replace the shocks while I was under here. Figured, what the hell. Hey, hopefully you learned something on this video. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Either way, I'd appreciate that thumbs up like. Leave a comment below, and maybe, wait a second, let's put the tire back on first. There we go. Maybe, just maybe, I'll see you on the next video. If you enjoy videos about the randomness of our amazing world, consider clicking on the globe to subscribe, or maybe checking out one of the other videos right here.